You're the best big brother I could have ever asked for.
Yo, bro, you can't be saying shit like that as soon as we start the mics. You're gonna get us canceled. Fucking Christ, dude.
What I say?
Stop saying what you're saying right before when we start.
Well, I wasn't even talking.
Bro.
I was just insinuating.
All right.
What's up? I'm Austin. That's Alex. We are sadly related. New video out on YouTube. If you're watching this right now, or at any point, just go check out our YouTube. Sadly related. It's pretty easy to find.
We put one up this morning, and there's one about to be up in like 2 minutes here. So after you're done with the stream, go check out that shit.
Yeah. Not sponsored by Sweet Dollar Tea from McDonald's. I drink that, but I'm not a rapper.
I just have my life juice.
Life Juice.
I'm not special.
Did they restock on vanilla after you completely bought out the bar?
Oh, so no, this is so I usually buy the 15, 16 ounces, I think, from the.
And that's a
gas
measly 10
station.
ounce?
This is 11.
11.
They come in a 4-pack that I can buy from.
44 whole ounces.
That I can buy from Target.
Target?
Yeah, and sometimes they're out because.
Were you just thought, or did you just. There's no Target near you.
Yeah, there is.
There's
like 3.
Oh. Well, because there's the Target, like, a block from my apartment.
Oh, no, I have to drive.
I figured you could just go there on your way here. And just
no, I went grocery
get
shopping.
some fluids.
I went grocery shopping the other day.
All right, so I'm actually going to try to get this stream shut down right now with the opening subject.
Yeah, you were talking to me about this before.
Okay,
I'm
so
scared. I'm scared.
I don't know this to be the case, but I have a hypothesis. What if all pedophiles just have a micro penis and they fuck kids because that's the only thing that feels tight to them? And we can address this problem by just making fleshlights that address the market of micro penises, thus ending pedophilia.
So, 2 things. Kids aren't the only one with tight holes.
But I think they're the most obvious candidate to have them.
Yeah, but there's like 1 billion people over in Asia.
We managed to hate kids and be racist.
But on the
We're nailing it.
but on the real side, so there is a discussion amongst scientists and AI people about pedophilia and sex robots.
Yep. That's actually what I wanted to actually discuss. Because I thought
I don't know. I don't have enough information.
That's a hard one, right?
I don't have enough information because there's not really been a lot of research done. The idea is that if you get child sex robots to pedophiles, are they less willing, since they're able to fulfill their fantasies with these sex robots, are they less willing to harm actual children? However, the pushback is, if you are giving them these sex robots, does...
What the fuck did I tune into?
does...
Nailed it. That is the exact reaction I want out of everyone who watches this stream. That is the exact reaction I want. You do not understand. I do not want your money. I do not want YouTube's monetization. I want everyone to respect my comedic assets.
I just want your giggles.
I just want your giggles. Your shock and awe is also acceptable.
The pushback. Silence also works. So
silence is very acceptable. I have had shows go very, very wrong. Does not matter to me at all.
I still get paid. But the pushback to this child sex robots is that if you give pedophiles these robots, are they then more apt? Does it like prime them to go out and harm children? And is it a gateway drug? Is mostly what I'm saying.
Is robot child sex dolls a gateway to actually fucking kids?
The thing is, it's like you're not gonna have a child sex robot and to a normal person, and then they're gonna start fucking kids. That's not how that's gonna work.
No,
so
it's not like an open free market of robot sex dolls.
It's not
that are kids.
It's not
because that's not the ethical question.
No.
The ethics of like just mass producing child sex robots is, I'm gonna say no to that one. But I'm saying if the alternative is real kids or robots, but could the robots make the problem worse? I'm tempted to say no.
Well, it's if you want to liken it to the drug trade, is like if you have what they did, was it in Portugal, right? That they decriminalized all drugs, and then they started having
Portugal, Colombia, Switzerland. Pick a country.
they started actually having clinics for like people could go do meth in these clinics.
That was Switzerland,
so that they
sure,
so
yeah.
that they couldn't OD, and so they're monitored and all that.
Yeah.
They only get a certain amount, and it's controlled and all this jazz. But you're still giving them access. Is it the same thing? Because the people who are already going to go to those meth clinics are the people who want to try meth. You're not going to convince a regular person to then just go try meth.
Right. That's not well. And the thing about the meth.
In fact, I think you might have the opposite. The problem on the reverse of it is it's the forbidden fruit kind of thing. You see that with 18-year-olds all the time. They go drink because it's party. It's we're not supposed to kind of thing. Not because it's actually fun to them, although it is. It's just like people start drinking young, like I did, because it's like this taboo thing, not because it's like fun or what. We don't start out that way.
Sure.
So, anyways.
Well, and the other thing of note about the meth clinics in Switzerland is all prostitution basically went away.
Right.
As a result of that as well.
Right.
So the externality was just way outweighing the public being like, why are you giving people meth?
Right.
And I'm tempted to believe that would be the case with the child sex robots. Because like, name another form of media that makes you want to do anything. Right? Video games don't make you violent. Horror movies don't make you want to hurt yourself.
So that's the thing.
As much as Instagram wants you
that's
to
the
believe
thing,
that.
is there's that pushback against the child sex robots. It's like they might make them want to go harm children more. It's like I'm inclined to believe not that, like, that's not the case, because in every other form of media, like you said, that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
So
now, are there negative effects to exposing certain people to certain media? Like, should like kids watch porn? No, but
those who
but you got to talk like, what are the externalities? Because if something's fucking weird and ethically questionable, that's miles better than something that I think people should be castrated for. So
right.
It's like, I don't really give a shit if it's on the right side of the pin. It's way better than the current situation.
Right.
Now the hard part is like, child sex trafficking and shit like that is a lot like, sexual assault on adults. It's sometimes less so about sex, more so about power.
Yeah.
And that's all.
It's
in the
what's the saying?
in the child
what's the
sex case, sometimes it's like there's some sort of abuse they're passing on and blah blah blah. That's a whole other can of worms. So maybe the answer is just therapy for everyone. But
what's the saying? It's like everything is about sex except for sex.
Except for sex, yeah. And so, like, now, I was going to use the word extremist. I don't think that's the right one, but like, definitely like a radical right would be like, just take all the sex offenders and put them in the same prison and see what happens. And it's like, no.
Or just give them the death penalty kind of thing.
I'm anti-death penalty, so.
Yeah, I mean, I am too. I don't like pedophilia is like the worst crime you could commit.
Yeah, it's power, right?
Yeah, pedophilia is like, I don't know. I take it back. It's not the worst crime. Yeah, murder is the worst crime.
I'm aware, Rocky. You have a lot to say. I'm aware.
Murder is the worst crime because you're taking someone's life. But
murder is the worst crime.
Pedophilia is the second, I believe, and then rape third. But I mean, rape of an adult is third.
I think we have to preface premeditated murder is the worst.
Yes, premeditated murder. And then manslaughter. Well, that's why we have different sentencing for different.
I think manslaughter would come in fourth.
Accidental murder. Yeah, well, yeah,
or self-defense.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the thing is, like, and I have thought this, I can justify some murders. I can never justify assault or fucking a kid.
Right.
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 That's the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
That's hard. That's a hard one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, like, I would like to solve the issue. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, the less pedophiles, the better.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think we're all in agreement.
I think we're all in agreement on this one. What if we take all the predators in the world, put them on an island? Okay, Epstein. Then we have immigrants who want citizenship, hunt them down, and when they do, they get their citizenship. We call it alien versus predators. Oh, yo. Yo, you can hang, Rocky. That's fucking, that's what we're here for. That's what I like to fucking see in my chat.
That's what we're about.
This is what this stream is about right here. Yesterday, on Sunday, it was about rubbing cream on my weenus. And this time it's about how do we make less sexual predators in the world. And apparently it's with immigrants. So.
But what if they're the same person?
Ooh, sometimes they are. They would fall into the predator category. Kind of by default. You know, that falls under the same line of thinking of like, I think you should have to take a test to be able to vote. And I think that test should be you have to play Sid Meier's Civilization 5 and you have to win via science victory. Immigrants do get the job done. I mean, I want you the fuck out of my country, but ruining everything, taking all our jobs that I didn't want to do, but I want to have the option. Taking away my options in life. Thanks for that. Anyway.
Speaking of racial identities, all right.
Actually, this does kind of lead into the next subject in a weird
So
way.
there is this idea, which I think most people have seen over the past few years.
Please do. Please do. That'd be great. I would love that.
He's had a dry spell recently. I haven't been putting out.
Yeah, it's been rough.
So
He's just had to leave as soon as the stream's over, and I'm really sad about it because
all right.
I
So
haven't slept well.
there's this idea that I think the majority of people have seen over the past few years happen is this idolization of victimhood.
Unless you are the person idolizing your victimhood.
Yeah, then you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, it's just this idolization of victimhood and how you get social currency for being a victim and shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's effectively the Munchausen syndrome, like with Rachel Dolezal. I think there's back in September, there was Jessica Krug, who was a George Washington University professor who canceled herself online.
Wait, how did...
She's just she was this person who was born in Kansas, pretty I think Jewish descent or whatever, and she just acted like she was some form of black person, and even got...
Who was the lady that took the peptides and changed her skin color?
No fucking idea.
It was the gal who was part of the NAACP, and she wasn't actually black.
That's Dolezal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's like people like that, and then there's an article in The Atlantic that talks about how obviously this isn't new. People in 9/11 and Holocaust and all that stuff, as soon as there's these big tragedies or these big social events, that people like to take on victimhood.
Yeah.
Purely only to garner attention and sympathy, and that's all it is. Yeah. It's this cross between Munchausen syndrome and then social identity. And Munchausen syndrome is people who fake symptoms or disorders in order to garner attention and sympathy. Mostly it's in the medical area where people go to doctors and hospitals to pretty much they're just like, hey, I need all these tests, blah, 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 blah. I'm feeling sick in some ethereal way. I have these headaches that never go away kind of thing. And whether or not
Drink water.
Whether or not they have actual illness is not the point. It's just that they always come in and try to just purely garner attention from doctors and nurses and shit like that, rather than having like dealing with an actual sickness. And so now you're seeing it on social media, especially Twitter, where it's just these people faking victimhood or faking worrying about people who are victims, whether or not the victims actually give a shit about their problems.
Yeah.
Like we saw it with the winter storm in Texas. People were crying boo-hoo for Texans, but all of us Texans are like, it's fucking fine. It'll be gone in 4 days.
I really didn't see anyone from Texas
There was
be like, wow, this is the worst thing ever. It
There was
was
a-
just like,
there was a lot of fucking dumb people in Texas buying, like literally buying out the entire grocery store as if it was fucking Armageddon. And there's stupid people like that, but they weren't trying to garner sympathy points. They were worried about, staying warm and being with their
overly
family.
worried about their family.
Yeah, overly
sure.
worried about their situation, which is fine. It is what it is. But like they weren't trying to garner sympathy points. It was a bunch of
Yeah.
people from other areas that were like, "Oh, worry about these Texans." It's like, just shut the fuck up.
It was also the thing about like Ted Cruz was on vacation. I was like,
Go fuck
who
yourself.
gives a shit?
He can make calls from Cancun. Who gives a
Yeah.
fuck where
Also,
he is geographically?
What was he gonna do?
Right. Who gives a
Power
fuck?
grid's down. Yeah, I'm gonna call my senator.
Cool.
What's he gonna fucking
It's
do
already
for
a
you?
private company. The senator's not going to move the fucking tide in 24 hours about what the private company's going to do.
Yeah, there's just no way.
Now, like, was it the fucking power company in Texas went to Congress about some stuff a week or two after
Yeah.
the incident? Because that's how slow things move.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, also, like, you have to respond internally before you start.
Well,
Like,
I saw there was some things. I saw a video online of Kansas City. They had a winter storm type thing going on recently, and they had just lines of snowplows plowing the highways.
yep.
Like we could have done here. That's the thing is like Texas should have prepared more. But the thing is, it's like the Trump situation. We should have prepared, or it's like the pandemic. We should have prepared, but we didn't. So this is where we're at. Let's just deal with it that way. Instead of being like, oh, and complaining the whole fucking time without actually doing anything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, if you want to spend 4 days solving the problem and afterward go, hey, I did some assessment on how things could go better the next time.
Right.
Okay, then we can have a conversation. And
Solve the current
sometimes
problem.
it's fair
Yeah.
if you have a fucking laundry list of things that can be better.
Yeah.
Sure. But at least that's a conversation we can engage in versus just like, sorry, but like, I'm not going to sit here like, what was it? Chicago, a suburb of Chicago approved of reparations for black families past couple of days. I'm not going to sit here in Dallas and start complaining about whether or not there should be reparations. I don't give a shit. I don't live there.
Well, yeah.
Like, I didn't, and also, like, Texas didn't ask for your opinion. Right?
No.
Right? Like, it was rather opportunistic for a red state to have some sort of energy problem and for it to turn political. And it's like, none of it was political. Literally any of it. No. And if you wanted to complain about the politics of it, you had to go back to the 80s when they didn't want to be part of the national grid system.
Oh, you know what was also super funny is I saw a bunch of people from Virginia and Florida complain about how Texas has private electric and power.
Florida Power Lines is a monopoly.
Florida and Virginia both have private.
Yeah, Florida Power Lines is a private company.
You're gonna complain about Texas having it. You have it too, you dumb shit. Like
you just haven't had a problem. Do your fucking homework.
And I know that because I had to deal with power in both of those states.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Here's a quote from James Baldwin, who is a black.
That's a name I recognize.
Anyways, this goes both ways in terms of social
Or
media.
am I thinking J Balvin?
It's a little different.
It's a little different.
This goes both ways in terms of social media and just like racial shit.
Sure.
His quote is, "I imagine one of the reasons people cling to their hate so stubbornly is because they sense once hate is gone, they'll be forced to deal with the pain." So obviously you can think of like white nationalists, like they hate other people because they have some form of pain or
They got
miseducation. Something happened in their life where they automatically hate black people. A lot of it is indoctrination from their parents or grandparents or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you think about it in social media, there's a lot of people that hate billionaires, hate all this other shit because they haven't gone through, like what we talked about last stream, cognitive behavioral therapy, and learned to not dramatize everything.
And then that's veiled by they're fighting on behalf of the poor. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm not convinced that that's the case.
The thing is, there are legitimate struggles that the poor have, and there are a certain proportion of the people people in lower socioeconomic areas.
We are going to have roughly 10% of the population we're going to have to figure out what to do with as a society.
Yeah.
Because they can't really fend for themselves. They don't really have the resourcefulness or really the ability to do much for themselves.
And they're trying to voice their opinion.
And it's not really their fault that they can't.
Yeah, and that's fine. And like there should be a faction of people that work to help better them and amplify their voices.
Yep.
But the way you do that is like, hey, take these examples of this person doing this thing and their struggles, hear it from their words, their stories, instead of being like, oh, well, Kylie Jenner's taking work from the minorities, blah blah blah, and then just complain about dumb shit like that. Yeah. Instead of being like, hey, here's actual stories from tequila manufacturers who use Hispanic people to make their tequila or whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And here's their struggles and what they complain about. And I bet you it's not the fucking same.
No.
I bet you they're not the same complaints.
Oh, well, Gary Vee had a thing. It's like, if someone who looks like you made it, you're out of excuses.
Right.
To some degree, that is true. And we were actually talking about this off stream about like, oh, I want to have a better physique. It's like, well, you can. It takes work.
Yeah, you actually got to.
It takes something different than what you're doing now. And kind of the example I pointed to is Ethan Suplee. If you don't know who that is, he was a director. He acted in Friday Night Lights and in something else, and then was the director for The Big Short. Film adaptation.
I've never seen Friday Night Lights.
It's an okay movie. Friday Night Lights is a movie that's popular now because a lot of the cast that was young playing the high schoolers all ended up being famous. Like Ethan Suplee, Michael B. Jordan was in it.
I don't even know who Ethan Suplee is. Oh, that dude. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he lost like 200, 300 pounds.
He was in My Name is Earl, isn't it?
Yeah. Something like that.
My Name is Earl.
Yeah. Okay. And it's like, okay, does he have access to, better, resources and trainers and people than most people? Yeah. Sure. But at the end of the day, it's like the dude lost 300 pounds.
At the end of the day,
there's not much to thank other than himself for that one.
At the end of the day, his trainers aren't losing his weight for him.
He
still has to put in the work to do it.
Yeah.
He can have it's the same thing as like DJing or whatever. You can have all the equipment you want. The thing is, unless you do the actual work, nothing changes. No. You have to do the work.
No.
But, fuck us for saying that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here on, 2.5 viewers at stream. How many complaints have we gotten? Have we said? 0, because we know it takes a while.
It just takes hard. It's just, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. That's what it is.
That's it. God, okay, so race, pedophilia, victim culture. What else are we going to get canceled for today?
I had a thought and forgot what it was.
We could start fat shaming people. That seems to be the fastest way to get ruined off the internet.
Okay, here's a tangent to that.
Oh boy.
So I don't know if you saw the recent Flagrant 2.
I did.
Yeah, they were talking about how apparently virginity in young boys is on the rise. Whether or not that is true.
I was like, that's speculation at best, but let's say it is.
Let's just assume it's true.
Sure.
They were talking about some of the reasons that it might be, and a couple interesting things that they brought up was, okay, so they were talking about how, especially even when I was a kid, you actually had to go out into the world and like hit on girls or strike conversations with them. Actually have to go out and interface with people in the real world. Mm-hmm. I know that's a crazy concept now. But you had to do that.
Fucking boomer.
And so then when Tinder came around in 2011,
You were just getting into college.
I also downloaded it as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
Because I had friends talk about it.
Yeah.
And the thing, they were likening it to ankle weights. And so going out into the real world, you have these ankle weights. You're going to get rejected a lot. You have to deal with the pain of rejection in your fucking face, all this jazz. And now, with swiping and all these social media apps and all this other stuff, you remove your ankle weights. And now it's just easy, boom, boom, boom. But kids growing up today never had those ankle weights. So now they have no fucking ankles. So whenever they get struck out, they take it, I don't know. It doesn't seem.
Okay, so.
And then the other side of this was that it's very similar for women. Now, they were talking about how younger girls 18 to say 23 or whatever in college or around, young adult.
Yeah.
They had this more or less protected pool of suitors or lovers that they could get with, right? It was people around their college, people in their class, people they worked with that
social
were around
circles
there,
that just happened to be on campus.
Right, exactly, stuff like that. Now, these women can, and because young women generally have an apt for men who are older, they can raise the range of men that they can swipe on. And so, older guys sometimes like younger girls and all this, younger women and all this jazz. And so so now these younger dudes who are like 22 cannot compete with these 30-year-old guys who are into these same women, because these 30-year-old guys generally might have more success. They might have a nice car or,
Yeah, I mean, just on a practical level, you don't even have to be rich. It's just like, if you have spare time, transportation, and the ability to pay for dinner, your dating prospects go way up.
Yeah, I was broke as fuck in college. Still kind of am, but
is Tinder? Oh, what up, Cinetti? Is Tinder really easy for men? Women get lots of people met. So,
Tinder's kind of a shit show now.
I mean, yeah. So I'm on Hinge, but let's just use it as like a proxy for dating apps because it's all kind of the same. Yeah, women get lots of people matching.
So
it's the digital version of the way courtship has always worked, where men initiate and women kind of select from top down from what's available in their head, whatever they deem as top down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're hot, you get more people hitting on you in person. If you're hot, you're gonna get more people swiping on you on dating apps. Now, the volume might go crazy like Bitcoin on dating apps because, for whatever reason, because I can imagine if you're a 21-year-old female and you're a rather attractive individual, right, then the pool of guys going after you is going to be from 20 to 35, if not older, depending on who you are. Right. And so, you kind of get your pick of the litter, and then it kind of trickles down from there. The conversation I hear a lot from, because I'm a little bit younger, and I'm a little closer to what college dating scene currently looks like. The comment I get a lot is that guys are unsure how to approach women at this point. One, because some of them have said they have a hard time determining what's acceptable as an approach, which. My response is, if you had to question if it was acceptable at first, you probably shouldn't have said it anyway. And then two was and I think pussy rules the world. You're not wrong. And for guys, part of it is
if guys didn't put pussy on a pedestal, it wouldn't rule as much.
That's part of it, and that's part of my response is okay, if you're 22 and you can't get the 22-year-old girl, but the 28-year-old can. Just wait till you're 28.
Right.
Right. You'll be that pool eventually. It's not your social value as a guy goes up pretty much indefinitely until you're 45.
Yeah.
Minute probably older than that with modern technology and if you keep your health up and stuff. And so stop being, I don't know. I mean, part of me is like, I don't really struggle with women. So part of me is being like, quit whining. But at the end of the day, the most successful relationships I've had still have all come from interaction in person and not a dating app.
Correct.
So that tells you about, because like how your social circle more often than not is an extension of you, because you relate to them in some aspect or multiple ways.
Right.
And then their sphere of influence is 1 degree removed from you, but probably still fairly similar to what you would want to be around for the most part.
Right.
And if in that 1 degree of separation is someone that you're attracted to, there's decent odds that someone in that outer circle is going to be also attracted to you. And that's how you meet people. I mean, the barbershop's a great example.
Yeah.
At this point.
So I don't want to give relationship advice, but one of the things what I've pretty much almost always done my entire adult life is just treat women as humans.
Right.
And just strike up conversations as if, like, no expectation of hooking up, no expectation of whatever. Whether or not I'm interested in them, it's not like playing it cool. It's just like, hey, what are you interested? What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. You just strike up a normal conversation with them. And then over time, it might take, 3 dates, but fucking, it might take some time or even longer. I've had it's been like a year or two. It takes a little bit. Yeah. But it's just, you just treat them as humans, and then you, like you said, glom onto these.
Wait, women are people too?
Whoa, what a concept!
What an actual
news
to me, bro.
But then
Holy shit.
you realize these shared values or these shared interests, like you were saying, and then it's just then you go from there.
And here's the flip side is like,
and then you hint at some flirtiness every now and then and drop some stuff, but like that's
fine. I mean, from my experience is that like if a woman's into you, it won't be hard to figure out.
It's not that.
It won't be hard to figure out.
It's
They're not good at poker.
The thing is,
nobody's really that good at poker.
The thing is, it's like guys always complain about women not saying much or like not initiating or having like good signs that they're interested. It's like
kind of agree,
but you're wrong. They all use the same signs. You just have to know what those signs are. When you're 16, you might not know.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
But as soon as you figure out what those signs are, it's fucking dumb. They all like you're so funny. No, stop. Like it's that, or they like flip the hair to show their neck more towards you, shit like that. Like they play with their hair more, stuff like that. It's just those small signs, but every single girl has them.
Hey, do they smile when they see you in the room? You're probably doing okay.
Right.
It's not rocket science.
Do they stare at you for more than 2 seconds and then like not make a disgusting face? Okay. At least,
I mean, I don't experience that one a lot, but,
yeah, with that fucking mug. Yeah.
When it happens, it's a good day.
It's just, and then some guys take it too far, thinking like every girl hits on them just because a girl is friendly.
That's also weird.
It's just be a normal fucking person. Like that's really all it is. Like,
who knew, right? Yeah, right. Basically, it's it's complicated, but it's not.
Yeah.
When it gets complicated is when you realize that the flip side of realizing everyone's also human is that like there's probably something you're going to dig up that they're dealing with that you're going to now have to deal with if you decide you want to be around them.
Right.
And
that's
now is there like, okay, let's use me as an example, right? My anxiety is very well managed at this point. It's barely a problem. But, like, I can imagine, I've had a scenario earlier this year and, a couple last year with the pandemic. It's like, there will be weeks where I, like, forget how to function because I'm stressed the fuck out way more than I need to be. Get ready for those episodes. Yeah. And you're going to, this kind of goes a little too far into the dating world where you're actually in a relationship, but like I'm a firm believer that like love is a choice, not an emotion.
Right.
And so, be a normal human. You'll interact with people who are into similar shit or have similar worldviews just kind of naturally, as long as you're honest about what your views are and you're reasonable in discussing them. Yeah. Right. And then you'll find someone who you just like being around as a human. And then I think if you're going up to talk to them, it's a given you find them attractive, hopefully.
Yeah.
And so that's not even like part of the equation. That just gets you in the door.
Right.
Right. And so the part where you actually talk to them is like, oh, I just like having them in the room. And then you do that long enough. There you go. It's.
So this, and then I'm going to go on another tangent. It's just
Sure.
tangents on tangents.
That's
on
all
tangents.
this show is. There's no plan.
In dating, but also just in life in general, when meeting a new person, there was on Flagrant 2, there was someone said that they were told this quote. I don't remember who the quote was by, but it was, "Don't lead with."
Oh, don't lead with the details.
Don't lead with it. No, don't. Yeah, don't lead with the detail.
Yeah.
Which is like, yes.
Yeah. So the example of that is like, I'll go back to dating apps. The people who are like, you should not go out with me if you voted for Trump.
Okay.
That's leading with a detail. You have already artificially created a wall where you're just unapproachable by a given group of people.
Yeah.
For a reason that's not that great.
And the thing is, like, there are certain things that, like, if you're trying to sequester out a certain group of people and let go of all those other people, sure. I think Trump is not inherently the right thing to sequester people on.
There's barely anything that is, because I also don't want to be engaged with someone who clearly still harbors animosity for someone extended to a group of people. That's usually where that comes from.
My sequester is, I think I had on Bumble for a while. It was, you should go out with me if your personality does not revolve around tacos, margs, and dogs, which is the most basic white girl thing I've seen.
Yeah, but that means you're just asking someone to have an original thought in their head.
That's the thing. And
That's an actual thing to ask for.
I'm willing to sequester out a group of people based on their basic bitchness. So
That's kind of fair.
yeah. So
Like, no, I don't want to hear about The Bachelor and the Kardashians.
don't give a
Don't
flying
care.
fuck. I don't care. I mean, the thing is, like, you can be interested in stuff I'm not interested in. You can tell me about your day or your work that I don't give a fuck
Right.
about, and I'm here to be a sounding board. But at the same time, I don't give a fuck about celebrity dating or whatever. Who gives a shit?
Right.
What are you, 12? What is this, 1990s? Like, come on. Who gives a fuck?
I remember reading magazines. Dude, here I see you must be taller than this. Which is, yeah, that's also bullshit.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of on opposite ends of that physical limit, let's say.
Yeah.
It's still dumb.
I've been on, so I'm 5'7", and I've been unmatched. Like, I've had a good conversation with someone, or at least just kind of like an inquiry of like, hey, what are you into? Blah blah blah. Just back and forth.
Just a
questions,
normal human
like a
convo.
normal like dating app conversation thing.
Yep.
And then the topic, she goes, oh, how tall are you? As if that fucking matters to begin with.
It
But
doesn't.
I answer, 5'7", immediately unmatched. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well.
You didn't
All
want him
right.
anyway.
The thing is,
At
it's
that
like
rate.
that's the thing is like I'm not mad about it. It's because like if she's gonna be that superficial about dumb shit like
Yeah.
that, do I want to be dating her anyways? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, so
What if I told you I only date girls under a given body fat percentage?
right, that's the thing.
Which is true, by the way.
Yeah,
So, and that's on like an eyeball basis. But like, I'm not asking you to get a fucking caper and fucking.
I
but
have hooked up with girls larger than what I see as reasonable to date. So I like thinner, more in shape women.
well, you and I are thinner, in
Right,
shape
right.
dudes.
But I've also hooked up with women who are larger than that. But that's because their assets were a lot larger than proportionality.
No, I know what you're saying. I know. No, I get it.
and it
I
was
get it.
fun. And we were both like, hey, this is fun, cool. And then you just
I've-
go on with your day.
I do the
Like,
same thing.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's just, I don't know. Dating's so weird.
So I'll tell you where my success lies. Apparently, is bisexual women.
Same though.
Okay, but so I was trying to parse through like why, and the response I get every time is that I completely gloss over the fact they're bisexual.
Oh, yeah.
Because like,
Yeah.
so it's not a personality trait.
No.
It's not. It has nothing to do with who you are as a person.
No.
I'm
Unless-
into you into me? Cool.
Unless you make it a personality trait.
Which is a turnoff.
Yes.
So
If your sexuality is what you define yourself to be, and that's what you are, okay.
then they lose their shit. Yeah, because you're just like,
Yeah.
wow, you're just treating me like a normal human. That's all I've ever wanted.
Yep.
Same thing with Asian women.
Also, yeah.
I have a lot of success with Asian women on dating apps, apparently. I think I just never bring up. Don't bring up the shit that doesn't matter.
So, okay. On the flip side of that, though, I have hooked up with Asian women who prefer white guys. As opposed to literally any other race, which is interesting.
So I went on a date with a girl one time, and we matched because I liked a thing on her profile that said, what was it? What was the second part of it? I gotta do this justice. It was like, I'm down with the swirl if you think my life matters too. And I was like, all right.
Oh, that's great.
I was like, hey, I'm in.
That's great.
If you say something like that, I would say, how dare you judge me while saying that you have to be... Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's the same talking point we've heard a million fucking times, but I'm going to keep bringing it up. So that was... Okay, so this is the part where feminism enters the equation on dating. And it is part of what makes dating interesting, because I think they've kind of laid their cards on the table. And so now the question becomes, how do you engage? I think it's just easier to talk to them, if anything, nowadays, with women being more open about their interests and sexual preferences, right? I think having less things that are taboo makes things great for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a confident person who's willing. Okay, short story time. I was hooking up with my barber for a while. The first conversation we had was, hey, what'd you do over New Year's Eve? And I went, I don't know, masturbate a lot. And then I showed her a picture of a Moby Huge and asked, would you ever have a use case for this? And if you don't know what a Moby Huge is, it's a 3-foot long dildo. And so
The thing is, I was here for this conversation.
yeah, he was there. He was bartending at the time. And she was just like, all right. And I was like, well, you asked me what I did on New Year's Eve. That's what I did on New Year's Eve. And I wasn't going to lie to you. So, well, because I had already explained to the entire staff what a dick print was a couple days prior.
I work with 11 women, so...
I work with 8.
No, I know, but like you're at the bar. I work with a lot of women, so it's just naturally sex. And it's a barbershop. It's a barbershop. It's
11 women.
It's a barbershop with
and
a bar.
One guy.
Well, yeah, it's a barbershop
with a bar servicing a bunch of men, and then one that's related to him who they know very well walks in.
The topic of sex comes up a lot.
Yeah, and you can't be really surprised by that. I mean, everyone's at least, for the most part, 25.
I am the second youngest. Everyone, there's one person that is 26. Everyone else is at least 30.
Exactly. Nobody gives a shit. That's the best part. And that's the struggle I run into, because I'm kind of into older women because they're just open with their opinions for the most part. And they kind of know what they want type of thing, which is great for me. Just as a trend, that's what I notice. But then I'm chasing this white rabbit because then she's into guys older than her. So now I'm chasing this tail that I can't actually get to.
I'm finally getting to the age of the women that I have always liked. Every time I see an actress
I can't wait for that day.
or a musician or something like that
They've always been
that I like, I find out their age and they're like late 20s, early 30s. I'm like, oh no, that makes sense. And that's been that way since I've been like 22. And now I'm finally getting that age. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. I have a better shot.
How old's Natalie Dormer? Can you Google that?
Natalie Dormer?
Natalie Dormer.
Who the fuck is that?
She's an actress, I think.
Dorme. English actress. Oh, this chick. She is 39.
39. So, casually explained, I believe is younger than you. And he's had a crush on Natalie Dormer for like the history of his channel.
I get it. Oh, what's
His
the fucking...
first video was, his second video was absolute hot. And then the final measurement ended up being 1 ND or dorm in reference to Natalie Dormer. So,
No, I get it. Back during the Iron Man series, I had a crush on Gwyneth Paltrow before she started gooping that whole shit.
Right.
And then also Amy Adams.
True. I had a crush on Scarlett Johansson in the Iron Man 2 when she made her debut as Black Widow and Don John era.
Amy Adams' counterpart, Isla Fisher.
Counterpart. Oh, okay.
They're the same. Like, everyone gets them confused.
There are 3 actresses that look the fucking same.
Yeah.
And I see memes about it. Actresses in movies are like actors generally in movies are the one thing I cannot keep my fucking P's and Q's on. But I can tell you all sorts of stuff about athletes and musicians.
I've got like older actors, like the new ones I can't keep up with.
Yeah, me
but
neither.
like from like 2005 and before, I got it. I know them all.
I got it.
I know them all. But
Well, there was like Adam Sandler, and that was it. It was just movies with Adam Sandler featuring.
there's like
Someone.
Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, like that whole
That's true. Will Smith is actually a great
Denzel
actor.
Washington, Jamie Foxx.
Denzel Washington.
But yeah, it's just like so.
Jamie Foxx plays. What's his face?
Motherfucker Jones.
Yes. Stevie Wonder, right? In that.
I believe so. That one was a good movie.
That's a good fucking movie. Hit the road.
Stevie Wonder movie. It was called Unpredictable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good movie. Very talented guy. Does a lot of shit.
But yeah, dating is just human relations with like an added tinge of sexualness.
Yeah,
sexuality.
pretty much. I feel the same way about dating apps as I feel about all social media. It's just a big mirror.
Well, dating apps, like when I was 18, 19 years old, I would go to clubs and me and my friends would try to hit on women. And it's the same, like dating apps it's just hitting on people at a bar, just digital form. Everything is superficial. You're not having a conversation at a fucking club.
No.
The music's too loud. You're like, hey, how's it going? And then you're like, hey, you want to dance? And that's what it is.
Which, by the way, guys, if you want women to approach you, learn how to dance.
Learn to fucking
That
dance.
is the number one
Jesus.
fucking way to do it.
A lot of it's in the
I'm not
hips.
even kidding.
A lot of it's in the
because
hips.
I was gonna tell this story anyway, but it's a good segue. Ryan and Val's wedding.
Right.
I was 18 at the time, and one of the bride's sisters.
Cousins. It wasn't a sister.
I hope not.
No, I know her sisters.
I don't. So I was just there vibing. One of the cousins, who I believe was 31 at the time.
Sure.
Something like that. That's all I vaguely remember through the grapevine. She was in her early 30s. She comes up and puts her arm around me, and it's like, she's blasted. She just, my God. We all were. I was too. And so, no, I wasn't. I was 18. I wasn't allowed to drink. I would never do that.
No. He wasn't drinking. I was.
Yeah.
I was drinking his drinks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I ended up drinking them from you later, but that's because I was drinking you tall glass of water. Anyway, so the cousin starts hitting away. She puts her arm in. Like, oh my God, you're such a good dancer. I had to like kind of mush her face away from me. Just like, I'm gonna go over here. And that was that. But yeah, no, I definitely had some success as a DJ when I would go out and dance with folks. And it was that famous initial group of black girls you have to get dancing every time, or every time.
Here, just
I got a few
as a
numbers
quick
out of that.
note, as a DJ, the best night you can have is if you just have a group of 3 or 4 black women start dancing to your songs. It's a seed for everyone else to start dancing.
You're golden.
It's golden.
You're
it's
golden.
fantastic. I love it. It's
the
perfect.
best, and it's always black girls.
They're just
Every
in it.
time.
They're out to have fun. They're in it.
They're in it.
They're
to
gonna
win. I
have
like
fun.
the attitude.
It's great.
It's a good time.
great.
It's a good time.
Anyways.
Yeah.
That ends our segment on
Sorry, I was
dating.
reminiscing. Oh,
That ends our segment on millennial dating. Or Gen
Well,
Z,
that was
Gen
a-
Z dating.
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 If you don't, just go to Casually Explained and look up how to talk to girls, and he has a whole video on it.
That's a good video.
That actually is a pretty good video.
It's funny.
I don't know.
Is there anything else?
Well, I don't think so. I already tried to get us canceled, and then we talked about dating, so
I don't have any more tangents as far as I know.
I don't think so either.
Oh no. Okay, I never got to the actual tangent I was trying to think of.
Oh,
Speaking of the weight thing, social media has just become a meat market for women. Meaning,
yeah.
meaning, all guys have to do now is just try to look good on the app, whether or not they actually look good, or there's like, I put foundation on every now and then, but it's just guys getting more into makeup-esque type things to look good, which I think everyone should do.
I don't think that's a. By the way, I'm fully on board with men in general becoming more metro.
Yeah,
I'm very much on board with
it's
that.
fine. One of my ex's she was into makeup, and she knew that I put on foundation every now and then just to cover up spots and stuff like that. And she goes, "Well, yeah, everyone should try to put their best foot forward," which is the fucking point.
Within reasonable
Yeah,
steps.
well, yeah. You don't look like a fucking cartoon, but like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I started getting into women's fragrances for myself, just because I like the way they smell. I don't know.
so
They just smell good. So
I
I'm
was
just like,
I was
alright.
talking with someone, and they like my cologne smell
Sure.
that I have.
Sure.
And they're like, "Well, what is it?" And I was like, "It's Adidas for men
Blah, blah,
thing.
blah.
It's something I've been using for like a decade."
Yeah.
But now
they still sell it.
Now, now it's starting to go out, and I've been buying it off Amazon for the past year. And once it runs out on Amazon, then I'll have to switch up. But the thing is, unless it's like Aqua de Jo, which is too expensive, everything else is too musky. Everything is too fucking
green.
like, it makes me smell like an old dude.
How metro is this conversation during? You have no fucking clue, Stinetti. You have no clue how metrosexual this conversation will get.
Oh, so metro? How metro?
So metro. Disgustingly metro.
But it's just, yeah.
I want you to be repulsed at how metro this conversation becomes.
I wish there was more like colognes that actually smelled good and not like you were like 60 years old. So,
Or Axe.
or Axe. Yeah, it's pretty much those two. It's
I'm kind of getting tired of using Axe is the big thing.
yeah, it's annoying.
But here we are.
I had a beard balm that was a woodsy smell, and
Woodsy.
I really liked that. It wasn't overpowering
Woodsy.
because it was just in my beard. It smelled like you were chopping, like you were in a forest, kind of like smelling like woodsy. It smelled good. And it wasn't overpowering because it was just in my beard.
Well, then apparently you would like the Sasquatch soap.
No idea what that is.
It soap that has the same kind of.
The thing is,
Smell
I
to
like
it.
my soap. My soap is fine. It's just the cologne
Yeah.
that I'll eventually have to change.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too was like women's fragrance, general body care has like you can get like a body wash and a lotion and a fragrance that all like create this. What's the
Yeah.
word I'm looking for?
Lavender, lilac, vanilla, sunshine.
No, it's like not like a trifecta, like this this layering effect,
Oh yeah,
right? That kind of carries over
Yeah.
without overpowering. And I'm like, oh, I would like that.
yeah.
That would be good.
Because like I have a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah.
And I work at a fucking barbershop, and I haven't bought any of the products except
No.
for a beard balm thing.
No.
Well, one, because I haven't run out of shampoo yet. But it's
Shampoo.
But people are always like, "Oh, why do you use that?" I was like, because if you go to Target or anything, all the guys just shampoo is all 2-in-1. You have to go to an actual barbershop or something like that to get actual separate.
friend
shampoo and
Travis?
conditioners.
My friend Travis uses Aveeno in his hair.
Yeah,
And I was like, yo, that's smart.
I've had girlfriends in the past be like, "Hey, you can use my shampoo," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I will." Like it smells
Yeah,
good.
right?
It smells good and it's
Or
better.
like I went over to this is gonna be kind of, I don't know if this is gonna be weird, but like I went over to our hometown in Florida, stayed at a
already
friend's
weird.
house, and like I made a raspberry pina colada for his mom.
Oh, yeah.
And she really liked that. And then we were talking about this kind of stuff. And she was like, "Do you want to use my shampoo?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I do." And then, like, my hair had never been softer in my life.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I should probably. I'm going to use all of the products I currently have because I don't feel like spending the money unless I have to. But, like, when I have to replenish, like, hair, body stuff, yeah, I'm definitely going feminine aisle because
What's that?
this is bullshit.
What's that video? It's like, oh, you want some shampoo and conditioner?
Now in a darker color.
Now in a darker color.
You got eczema?
eczema?
Do I even have to say it?
Try this lotion.
Darker color.
Now try it in a darker color.
It's always some sort of sport.
Yeah.
Men's
Power grip.
Sport.
Think of the Axe bottles. You got the grip on the sides with the finger holds.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah.
I was thinking Gorilla Grip. That's what I was.
Oh, yeah, no.
My brain went in a very different direction. Because I'm busted inside.
Welcome to the stream.
Woo! Woo! Ric Flair.
Where's my fellow half-step brothers-in-laws at?
Half-step brothers-in-laws, yeah.
All right.
What up, steppies?